Hey guys, so I'm back with another video, and I'm on winter break right now, and I just finished up with my first semester at community college, so I kind of wanted to give like a year or like a semester in review and kind of talk about how my experience went as college freshman first semester. So like overall it went pretty well. I definitely like learned a lot, and I've grown a lot in that time. And I think it taught me a lot about myself. And so basically, like when I was in high school, it was super easy for me to get like straight A's. Like I had like a 4.2 cumulative GPA in high school. Like it was so easy for me to get good grades. But then when I got to college, it became a very different story. The material was a lot more time intensive, and a lot harder, and some of the classes were a little bit more complex to understand. So I took a freshman English class, an intro to biology class, a basic nutrition class, and then statistics. And I think that honestly, statistics I think is what made it so hard for me, because that's like a very like critical thinking, like conceptual type class. So you have to really understand the concepts in order to like do well on the test and like understand how to apply the things that you've learned. And that was something like we were never taught to do in high school. The same thing in that freshman English class is we basically walked in on the first day and the professor said, forget everything you learned about writing essays in high school because it's totally different now. And so basically like what happened was we would read text like as a class, or do it for homework, and then like discuss it in class, and then we would write essays about like the text as a whole. But it was like doing like the homework and like those like response paper type things. It wasn't more about like, okay, read it and then summarize what the text says. It's okay, you've read it and you understand it, now what do you think about it? And that was like so just like mind-blowing for me, because in high school nobody ever asked like, what do you think about it? They just want to know like that you understand what it says. They never cared what you thought about the text. So that was really interesting. I did really well in English class, surprisingly. I was like on all the essays and stuff, I got A's on everything, and for the most part not everybody got A's on stuff because they I don't know, like I guess people didn't get it, but I was usually one of like 2 or 3 people in a class of about 30 or 40 that got A's on papers and stuff. So I was really happy that I did well in English. The professor was really nice, and I made some good friends in that class, so it was really fun. I actually really enjoyed English class. But stats was so hard, and I have to tell you that like the teacher that you have makes a big difference in the material. So I think if you have the option to like ask around in the math department, or like go on that Rate My Professor site and just like see what people say about your professor, I think it's going to make a big difference in the class, because my professor was an asshole. So if you have a professor who's a big jerk and like doesn't care about like if you do well in the class, or like whatever, like you're not trying hard enough kind of guy, then it's like it makes it so much worse for you. Like there was days when our professor would like explain things, and then he'd be like, okay, everybody got it? And we'd be like, no. And then he'd be like, oh, too bad, we're moving on. So it's a lot of like at home studying time and stuff, which I didn't realize it was gonna be like this. So I ended up I don't know. So yeah, so like it was hard, and it taught me a lot of like how to discipline myself and like time management and stuff, which I didn't think that I had a problem with before. But making that transition from high school to college was a real struggle for me. And so I started to feel my depression creep back a little bit, and I had like some negative relationships here and there, and I think communication-wise, it was difficult to communicate with my parents, because it's such an awkward time of transition, and you're trying to figure out like who you are and what you want to be and what you want to do, all while like living at home. Like I went to a JC, like a junior community college type thing, so I'm still like living at home and trying to figure myself out, basically. So it was difficult to communicate that with my parents. So what I ended up doing was utilizing the student health services that we have at school, and they have like a mental health student services kind of thing. So it's basically you get 8 sessions once a week with like a doctor, psychiatrist, psychologist kind of person, and you kind of just go and talk it out with them. And so you can go if you have just like one problem and you need fixing, and then like you go enough times and then it's fixed and you can be done, or you can like kind of use, so basically do what I ended up doing is I started at one thing, okay, I need to learn how to talk to my mom about things because I'm not doing okay and I don't understand, like I need to know how to talk about it. And then it kind of turned into other things. So it was like, okay, once I figured out how to fix things with my mom, I had to figure out how to fix things with myself. So I felt like my anxiety got really, really bad, and the depression I could feel was much worse. So what happened was I had a lot of like new pressures and expectations on me, and I didn't know how to handle that. And that's okay, like it's okay, like we're all learning here. This is all like a learning process of life, and that's okay. So that's why I strongly encourage anyone who is struggling to seek help. Usually your school will be able to provide some services to you, and if you use those services, or if you choose not to, they can help you find something that's affordable, whether you have insurance or not, outside of school. So I was learning, so I was at work and I had new expectations on me at work. I wanted to be assistant manager and think that I could like do more things at work and then try to have good grades at school, but I realized that I couldn't do both, and I pushed myself so hard that I ended up having like a lovely little like a mental breakdown type thing where I just like couldn't do anything. So I didn't go to work for like 2 weeks, and it just like made me slow down and like get my shit together and like help me refocus on myself. And basically in my family, and that's the way that I've always grown up, is that school comes first. So basically I would have had to quit my job completely to just focus on school, but luckily I didn't have to, so now I'm just working weekends. And so that's the biggest thing that college taught me, is like balancing. So it's time management, it's balancing where your energy goes. I was still like making friends because I kind of left everyone from high school behind. Like I don't talk to but maybe 3 or 4 people that I knew from high school. So I was kind of like trying to get myself out there to make new friends. So it's fun and exciting and scary. And it's fun and exciting and scary, and you're gonna learn a whole lot about yourself. And so yeah, so like just like in therapy I learned a lot about like how to manage my anxiety, how to understand and recognize if I'm depressed, and how to pull myself out of it. Because I'm not gonna, like, okay, so they wanted to put me on anti-anxiety medication, and I feel like this should be like a whole separate video because I ended up losing my hearing over the summer because I was literally so stressed out. So that should be a whole separate video. But yeah, so college taught me time management. What was that? What else? What were the other ones? Like, I don't know. Time management, balance, and just how to understand myself, and to understand that it's okay to ask for help too. If you're not doing good, it's always okay to ask for help, because if you're in school, there's always going to be someone that you can go to, whether it's like one of your professors or a staff member or a tutor, or if you have student health services, which I'm pretty sure like every campus does. You go there, use it. It's there. You pay the fees so that you can use it. So it's like, just go. And the therapy sessions were free because they came with my like $50 once a year like deposit fee kind of thing for the student health services, which isn't a lot of money because some people will pay $50 for one session. So yeah, definitely utilize your student health services, and don't be afraid to ask for help, because college is really shitty and it's a struggle for everybody, and we're all going through the same thing together. So don't be afraid to ask for help. That's the #1 thing that I learned.